Welcome to the Ramayan, Stories of Dharma and Devotion. I'm Sandeep, and in this podcast, we'll journey together through the timeless epic of Valmiki's Ramayan, filled with stories of honor, sacrifice, devotion, and righteousness. Although it's rooted in Indian culture, the Ramayan offers universal lessons that resonate globally. The epic addresses themes such as the triumph of good over evil, loyalty, the struggles of the righteous, family duties, and the power of compassion. These values transcend cultural and religious boundaries, making the Ramayan relevant to everyone globally. Today, we continue our journey through Bala Kanda and explore a significant episode that takes place after the Swayamvar of Sita, the encounter between Ram and the great sage Parshuram. This encounter marks a moment of realization for Parshuram and reveals the divine identity of Ram. Join me as we delve into this fascinating story.
The moment Ram strung and broke the divine bow of Lord Shiv, Pinaka, a thunderous sound echoed across Mithila and beyond. The sound reached the ears of Parshuram, the mighty warrior sage, who was known for his fierce temperament and incredible prowess. Parshuram was the sixth avatar of Lord Vishnu, and his purpose had been to rid the world of corrupt and oppressive rulers. He wielded the bow Sharanga, the twin bow to Pinaka, both of which were crafted by Vishwakarma, the celestial architect. Vishwakarma had created two identical bows, Pinaka for Lord Shiv and Sharanga for Lord Vishnu. In the cosmic rivalry, the bows were used to determine the supremacy between Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiv. But ultimately, the balance between creation and destruction was restored, and both deities acknowledged each other's powers. After this divine event, Lord Shiv presented his bow, Pinaka, to the ancestors of King Janak, where it was preserved and revered as a symbol of his lineage. Lord Vishnu's bow, Sharanga, was passed down to the sage Jamdagni and eventually came into the possession of Parshuram, who wielded it with pride. Upon hearing that the bow of Lord Shiv had been broken, Parshuram was enraged. He believed that no ordinary person could have performed such a feat, and he set out immediately to confront the one responsible. Parshuram's arrival was swift, and he entered Mithila, his eyes blazing with fury, carrying the bow Sharanga in his hands. The court of King Janak, which had been filled with joy and celebration, suddenly grew tense as Parshuram entered. His presence commanded silence, and everyone present could sense the immense power emanating from the sage. King Janak, along with the other assembled kings and warriors, stood in awe as Parshuram addressed the court, his voice thundering with authority. Parshuram spoke with a stern tone, his gaze fixed on Ram. "Who has dared to break the bow of Lord Shiv?" he demanded. "I have heard that someone here, without understanding the divine nature of the bow, has broken it. Let that person come forward and prove himself worthy, for breaking Pinaka is no small act." Ram stepped forward calmly, his face serene, and bowed respectfully to Parshuram. Before Ram could respond, however, Lakshman, who could not bear to see his elder brother being challenged, spoke up. With his characteristic courage, Lakshman said, "O revered sage, saints are meant to be free of anger and attachment. Why does this breaking of a bow cause you such distress? My brother and I have broken many bows in our childhood games. What makes this one so special?" Lakshman's words, though spoken with genuine curiosity, further fueled Parshuram's anger. He glared at Lakshman, ready to respond, but Ram intervened with humility. "O revered sage," Ram said, "it is I who broke the bow, but I did so only in response to the challenge set forth by King Janak. It was not done out of arrogance or disrespect." Parshuram, though still furious, looked at Ram with curiosity. He sensed that there was something extraordinary about this young prince, but he needed to test Ram's strength himself to see whether this was indeed a mere mortal or someone destined for greatness. Parshuram held out Sharanga, the bow of Lord Vishnu, and said, "If you are truly valiant and worthy, then string this bow, Sharanga, the bow of my Lord Vishnu." Let me see if you are capable of handling the power it holds. Ram, ever humble, nodded respectfully. He stepped forward and took Sharanga from Parshuram's hands. The court watched in silence, their eyes wide with anticipation. With effortless grace, Ram lifted the bow and began to string it, just as he had done with Pinaka. Parshuram watched closely, his eyes narrowing as Ram successfully strung the bow, his movements smooth and confident. As Ram held the strung bow in his hands, a realization dawned upon Parshuram. The aura that radiated from Ram, the divine energy that seemed to surround him, Parshuram understood then that Ram was no ordinary mortal. He was none other than the very incarnation of Lord Vishnu, the supreme being to whom Parshuram had always offered his devotion. Parshuram's anger dissipated, replaced by a sense of awe and reverence. He bowed before Ram, his hands folded in respect. "O Ram," he said, his voice now filled with humility, "I see now that you are none other than Lord Vishnu himself, who has taken human form for the welfare of the world. Please forgive my ignorance and my arrogance." Ram, with his ever-compassionate smile, spoke gently to Parshuram. "O revered sage, there is no need for forgiveness. Your devotion and your intentions are pure. It is my honor to have encountered you." Parshuram, satisfied and at peace, handed over the bow Sharanga to Ram as a token of respect, saying, "May you use this bow to uphold righteousness and protect the world." Parshuram then turned to Lakshman, his expression softened. "You, too, are blessed to serve such a noble brother. May you always uphold the principles of Dharma." With that, Parshuram took his leave, returning to his abode in the mountains, his heart filled with contentment. The court of Mithila, which had been tense just moments before, erupted in joy once more. The people understood that they had just witnessed a divine encounter, a meeting between two avatars of Lord Vishnu. With the blessings of Parshuram, the joyous celebrations in Mithila continued. The people of Mithila and Ayodhya rejoiced in the union of the two royal families, and the bonds between the kingdoms grew stronger than ever. The time eventually came for the families to return to Ayodhya. King Dashrath, along with Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Urmila, Bharat, Mandvi, Shatrughan, and Shrutkirti, prepared to leave Mithila and head back to their beloved city of Ayodhya. The people of Mithila bid them farewell with tears of joy and hearts filled with blessings for the newlyweds. The journey back to Ayodhya was filled with happiness and anticipation. The royal procession moved through the villages and towns, greeted by people who came out to catch a glimpse of their beloved princes and princesses. The air was filled with music, and the path was adorned with flowers as the procession made its way back home. Upon reaching Ayodhya, the entire city erupted in celebration. The people of Ayodhya welcomed their princes and their new brides with open arms and hearts filled with joy. The streets were decorated with garlands, and lamps lit up every corner of the city. The sounds of music and laughter echoed through Ayodhya as the people celebrated the return of their beloved Ram and his brothers along with their beautiful brides. King Dashrath was filled with pride as he watched his sons and their wives being welcomed by the people of Ayodhya. It was a moment of pure joy, a moment that marked the beginning of a new chapter in the lives of Ram, Sita, and their family. The bonds of love and devotion that had been forged in Mithila were now being embraced by the people of Ayodhya, and there was a sense of divine grace that filled the city.
The arrival of Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Urmila, Bharat, Mandvi, Shatrughan, and Shrutkirti in Ayodhya marked the end of Bala Kanda, a chapter filled with divine moments, challenges, and the fulfillment of destiny. It was a chapter that set the stage for the journey ahead, a journey that would be filled with trials, sacrifices, and the upholding of righteousness. In our next episode, we will reflect on the lessons learned from Bala Kanda and the timeless values that continue to inspire us. Join us as we summarize and reflect on the teachings from this beautiful chapter of the Ramayan. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please share the podcast with friends and family so that we can spread the glorious life of Ram and how Dharma guides us at all phases of our life. While we may not know exactly what happened, this eternal story of the Ramayan serves as a guide for how we conduct ourselves in our day-to-day lives. We have tried to create a story as close as possible to the ancient texts, scriptures, and writings of Valmiki's Ramayan. Until then, may the light of Dharma guide your path.